Welcome to Honestly Rated, and today we're going to be talking about your favorite miner, spelt M-I-N-E-R, Rocky Roll. Rocky Roll is a very unique Skylander. So unique that he gives me, moments of applause, and sometimes he gives me moments of confusion, he gives me moments of anger, and overall is a very interesting experience. But is that interesting experience good or bad? That's why I'm here today to show you his whole moveset and what I think about it honestly. But just like the other episodes, we have something to talk about first, and that's his lore. Which, honestly, it's kind of a heartwarming story. It's not one of those stories that's like, hey, they beat up bad guys, now they're part of the crew. So, let's go through it real fast. So, Rocky was a little rock digger that wanted to make a difference. And Roll was a boulder that wanted to see the world. If you don't know, Rocky and Roll, that's a whole name. Like, they're two separate people, and their name makes up the duo name. So, that's pretty cool. They went to mining school together. They shared the same goals. They wanted to go to the peak. And, it says that one's destiny will show itself when going there. And eventually, they went. But they didn't go at the same time. Well, they didn't go together. But they did meet up at the same time, and they realized that their destiny was to be together and make a difference. And eventually, they met up with Eon. Eon was like, yo, you got some magical little connection there. I like it. How about you want to join the forces? And that's how they became a Skylander. So that's pretty cool. A nice little friendship created just from out of the blue. Last thing I need to say is that if you do enjoy these type of videos, subscribe, leave down the Skylander you want to see next below. If you get enough likes, I'll do it. Or if I find it unique enough, I'll probably also do it. Or if I just feel like it, I'll do it. It's just that simple. And lastly, if you want to check what Skylanders are already done, go check out the playlist. I try to make sure to keep it up to date with every new video I post, but sometimes I don't. But just look in there and you can see everything in there. So, yeah. But now we can actually get into the meat and potatoes of it all, the moves. So let's go with his first two starting moves. So first up, we got Spitball and Boulder Dash. And even with this already creates some uniqueness into Rocky Roll. Because holy shit, is this some of the lowest damage I think I've seen a Skylander produce yet. We're hitting for 10 damage at level 13. Wow. That is very little. So, he starts off pretty rough. I won't even lie. It's really rough around the edges, just like a rock. It is so hard in the beginning, especially if you're doing hard difficulties, to kill anything. It takes a while. You have to sit there and just shoot and shoot and shoot. Or you could dash into enemies, but if they're like this, where they're big guys, you can really do just a couple damage, and it's not like it's doing a lot more. So you're best off just to keep shooting out these little balls, and there's no way to make it stronger, no way to do anything with it for now. For now, for the base 2, it is not the greatest thing. So we're really going to need these next upgrades to really amplify how much damage we're doing, because right now, holy shit, it honestly, I could probably see paint dry faster than killing a single enemy on expert or even like normal. Look, this is normal gameplay right here, and you see me, I'm blasting these guys to fucking all hell, and it's taking their sweet ass time. So, kind of good if we're looking at little enemies, but when it comes to larger enemies or even groups, a little rough around the edges. Next up, we're going to do Boulder Barrier and Rock On. Rock On is because it's going to actually upgrade our damage for our spitting, and we also got our new move, our little barrier. But let me just say the damage real quick. Dude, we went up by 1. Oh, come on, we went up by 1! Now we're doing 11! Isn't that just sweet? So, we'll actually talk about Rock Barrier because that is the unique thing here, and that is his next move. His last move, his special move. So, Rock Barrier is another weird case, right? Rock Barrier acts like a barrier. Who would have guessed? And it's like somewhat good and also just somewhat bad and somewhat good again. The damage output is a lot better than our spitting. It's doing 17 damage instead of 11, but obviously we're going to have to get close to enemies. And we can only have up to 3 for now. Hopefully later we can have a little bit more, because with only 3, it's kind of bad. Because you kind of have like this, you have it in like a triangle formation, and you can shoot these out. The way that I saw that they normally shoot out is that just like random points they'll shoot out, especially when you like If you press it and then press the shoot button, they'll sometimes shoot out or over a duration of time, or if you overpress the button when you don't have any more space, which is only one press so far, they'll shoot out. And in a triangle formation, that kind of sucks because you can't really aim it well. It's just gonna shoot off, and well, look, I missed 2 times right there. It's not that great. The damage again is great. You can really kind of like stand towards enemies and kind of rack up the damage if you keep pressing it. It doesn't spin really fast, but I noticed that you just keep replenishing your rocks, so you can just kind of like go back and back. It's kind of good for bosses because you can just sit there, just kind of smack them. Rocky Roll isn't like a fast character, but I wouldn't also call him slow, so I would kind of put him more in the medium, a little higher than that. So he can kind of dash around enemies, and I guess you can also just do the dash to get around them. So not bad for our next move or our last move, but upgrades are definitely going to be needed towards it to make it a lot better. So Rocky Roll in the first half is like fucking yucky. I won't even lie. It's not the greatest. But hopefully in the future, maybe we can pick up pace here, right? Let's shine that rock and start rolling a little faster. The last 2 up is going to be Bouncy Attack Mode and More Boulders. The reason we're putting these 2 here is because More Boulders is just more boulders, right? We got now 6, which is good. I don't really show it here though because of our Bouncy Attack Mode. This allows us to consume the boulders that we put out, and we go into this little bouncy mode, this little boingy mode, and it does a lot of damage. Right now, Rocky Roll wasn't doing a lot, especially with his projectiles, just shooting out spit rocks, not doing a lot. But this right here, this is doing up to 49 damage, 50-ish damage when we hit a crit. It's obviously very risky because even though you are still roughly the same speed, you're a little faster, I feel like, you're still going to get hit. And now you don't really got that defensive like boost option, even though the boost does have like that weird little startup. You will definitely get hit a lot more. And Rocky Roll isn't really super defensive. He does have a good amount of health, but isn't like insanely defensive to be able to just keep taking hits, especially again if you go in higher difficulties. So right now, another iffy one. I like the damage output, but a problem that I see persists through Rocky Roll, even through when we get through the other upgrades, is that when it comes to enemies when surrounding him, suck so much. With these core aspects of our moves that are going to be upgraded later, we're really going to need an upgrade to really be able to kill a lot of things around us quicker. And sadly, little spoiler I guess, he really doesn't got that. So even this, like, that's supposed to kind of like hit everything around you, you're still taking a ton amount of damage to the point where you might even die before you even kill a single thing. Again, especially in higher difficulties. So for the moves we got right now, he's got better from the beginning, but we're still in a rough point, and we're really gonna need these like upgrades to really boost them somewhere, to be able to consistently be able to kill without taking a lot of damage or being too slow. Because if we're gonna be playing this game at a fucking snail's pace, well, I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna fall asleep by that point. So let's go look at our first top path, which is gonna deal with our shooting. Onward with the top path with Geological Grandmaster, which is going to improve our spitballs. We first got Super Spitball and Rock's Hardest. Now, Rock's Hardest is another damage upgrade, and usually, if you have been watching these videos before, you know me, and I don't really like when damage upgrades or speed upgrades or anything like that are placed into the secondary upgrades because I feel like it's a waste of slot. Rocky Roll, I'm going to put in a special exception because holy shit, does he just need it. So, we'll say fuck it, yes, thank you, we did need that. Now, we'll talk about the actual cool thing, which is our Super Ball over here. The Super Ball allows us to kind of charge up just a natural ball and make it really big and shoot it at only one enemy. And that's kind of where the cons of this move is. It only hitting one enemy kind of stinks. I thought it was going to be like a boulder, like a legit boulder that would like kind of like roll through, which would have been pretty cool. You know, Indiana Jones, the fucking enemies here, and just kind of smush them. But no. It hits one enemy, and it does a lot of damage. Let me not get it wrong here. It does a shitload of damage. 100 damage to a single enemy. That's the damage we're looking for. 160? Holy shit. It will break your little barriers, by the way, and I don't know if it does increase damage. You might have to fact check me on that, but I've done it a couple times and let like it break the barriers, and it did increase the damage. I did like 130. I don't know. You let me know. It's not charging up the boulder because you can shoot the boulder at like a very tiny like peak and you only do like 100 damage, and if you charge it up to like the biggest form, it'll still only do 100 damage. So I don't know what causes like the damage differentiation. I know fuck all, but all I know is that it's a pretty good move. Again, it not hitting a lot of things at once kind of hurts it just because Rocky Roll cannot deal with a big crowd. He will keep getting smacked. As you see here, I am close to death because he just keeps getting smacked. But maybe our last one of this could fix it. Let's go take a look. Now last up, we got the triple spitballs. And just like the name suggests, we're throwing 3 meatballs at everybody. And it breaks into even smaller pieces. Now this is what really increases his damage output. As you can see here, for a single enemy, we're hitting like 15 and like little tiny 8s if we get really close, which is like going up to like 20 damage. So it's a nice move. And now we can kind of hit things in a big crowd. Is it a lot of damage? No. But was he doing a lot of damage beforehand? No. So it's like we just got multiple balls coming at people. And I like it. The part that I don't like is the weird fucking visual glitch that happens every time I shoot the damn thing. As if you're noticing in the background, weird shadow glitches have been just fucking popping up with this guy. And I like went out of the game, I went back into the game, and it's still doing it. I looked at superchargers, and it actually didn't do it, so I think it's only a this game issue. And it sucks. I don't know why the fuck this game has so many issues when it comes to characters and just like their moves in general. But it kind of throws me off. It's not like a bad thing. I think I could like deal with it if I just like played. Just like I would be like, okay, cool. The shadows just like love the shadow demons love coming at me. The shadow box because it's like a square every time. But it's still kind of annoying, right? I don't know. It's a weird thing, and I find it again. It's weirdly cool. I'll leave it there because I keep starting weirdly cool. But now we can go to the bottom path, which is gonna deal with our roll. Our little rock. Alright, rolling rumbler. Gonna prove our rolls. So, let's roll, literally. So, this is gonna be our first one of the triple set, as you saw. And this is gonna allow us to kind of just keep pressing that roll button and do more damage. And I like the damage we're doing here. We're doing like 40 damage per enemy. And we're still knocking back. And I love knockback. Now, not every single place is going to obviously have a place where you can knock them off stage, but I feel like that's really Rocky Rolls' like kind of like go-to. If you have a big crowd, your best shot is just to kind of roll into them and hope to God you don't get hit, because at the end is a very long hit stun. You are sitting there like a fucking duck about to get shot. You're gonna get hit if you don't hit everything around you. Now with this though, you have a lot more of a longer time, and if you do just jump, you will stop it. So, I guess you can kind of bypass it, but I like this move. I like it a lot. It doesn't help towards big enemies. It kind of helps with that little crowd issue he has. It's not like a definitive, like, answer, but it's a lot better of an answer than shooting little pellets out of this guy's mouth and getting hit 17 ways until Sunday. So, nice. Let's go talk about the next two, because the next two are related. Because they both deal with our bounty attack mode, where they give us 2 extra little options while in it. So something with the boulder eating is that you can make yourself bigger the more boulders you eat. So with 6 boulders, we're just slightly bigger. It doesn't increase damage, I can tell you that, but it does make us a little bigger, which is kind of cool. So let's actually talk about the 2 moves. First, we got a little spin with our arms every time we press square, and it does 10 damage, and it's probably better to kind of kill just like the small stuff. When it hitting like bigger things, I don't know if it's really that good, because you're already doing like kind of like 60 damage per like little jump, and I feel like you're doing more. I feel like it's more advantageous just to do the 60 than do like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. I guess you can't, no, because like, I feel like the boulder still hits a lot of stuff around anyways. So it's to kill the small stuff, or maybe just really try to chip at something for whatever fucking reason. The next one is going to be our little stomp with our hands. We're going to like Wreck-It Ralph it and start busting people's faces in. And this one does like 29 damage. It's faster to move with, which I like, because even though, again, you're kind of fast on the boulder, you're still not the fastest, and you can still get hit. So with this, you can kind of stop that and just kind of fucking go yeehaw anywhere you want to go. And at least with it doing 29 damage, it's not super like awkward to just chip at people, like you're doing a sizable chunk, and you can hit multiple things. So it's a positive. I'll leave it there. It's a positive, but if you like look a little too deep into it, you can see it as a negative. It's a little safer than just doing the jumps at people. Maybe, possibly, kind of. I don't fucking know. I should know. It's the way you look at it, right? It's like, if you're a fucking optimist, then sure, yeah, you probably like it. If you're a fucking negative person all the time, you probably think not. So let's go talk about the Soul Gem, because that's the last thing we need to look at. And Soul Gem is kind of cool. Last up, we got Boulder Posse, which lets us have up to 9 boulders surrounding us with our little defensive shield. Which to some might be cool, to some it might seem lame, and to some you might not give a fuck. But it's like kind of cool. Again, with the boulder, like when you eat the boulders, it makes you bigger for the one thing. And it potentially maybe makes your boulder, like with the big one, do more damage. I don't got a confirmation on that. But if it does, that's pretty cool. Making yourself bigger but not really doing much more damage, not that cool. So it's fine. Again, if we just take like earlier things I've said, like it's good against bosses. Now it's like really good against bosses, because now you can like really just kind of like, you know, and you can kind of just keep spamming it. And I guess again you can kind of like hit hordes with it if you're like right in the middle, but you do not want to be right in the middle of that shit, because you'll be torn to shreds. But that's his final move. To some, again, like even to me in the beginning, I'm like, man, that seems like just like a thing you would get in one of the paths, and it still honestly does. So it's a hit or miss, and I feel like Rocky Roll is kind of in that situation where he's a really hit or miss character for it. So let's get on to the rating and my final thoughts. So while taking a very nice magnifying glass to his whole moveset and how do I feel about it all, and making sure no personal bias leaks in, my final rating for Rocky Roll is going to be a 2.5. I think he's a slightly below average. I find him to be honestly kind of a tricky character to want to play. And honestly, for how tricky he is, for me, doesn't feel very rewarding. Right? I feel like a lot of other characters that maybe played pretty tricky feel pretty cool, because like you do like you rack up a bunch of damage, or you just feel like you're very invincible, and it's very fun, right? But for Rocky Roll, to like master him, it's just kind of to like, you kind of need to make sure you kind of just play normally and don't fucking die. I could see like even on normal mode, just like the beginning of Rocky Roll to be kind of hard. Maybe there was something I didn't know, or something that's some fucking crazy tip that would have helped me. But from what I got, from what I was able to read, see, do, and fucking mimic, that's the opinion I got. 2.5, just because I feel like for most people, it probably won't roll off the tongue. But to some, this is probably their favorite character. I fucking like the guy. I love how he looked. I know he's kind of expensive, I think, right? Because he was in like that trap team era where everything's just fucking bloated and they didn't make a lot. So if you see this, maybe this is like most like informational one I made so far, because he is a weird ass character. To the person who credited him, they said it themselves. He said he's a quirky dude. Yeah, I believe you now. I don't hate the guy, so that's why 2.5 is like slightly below average. I don't hate him. Maybe I'll still pick him up in the future, because I kind of like him. Like personally, I do kind of just like him, but I don't think he would be like the funnest to play forever. So that's why I'm gonna put him there. But that's all. That's all I got for Rocky Roll. Hopefully he does better in his future life if we ever get another game. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Remember everything I said in the beginning. Subscribe if you like this type of stuff. Look at the playlist just to see what other Skylanders are, because you can also leave your Skylander down in the comments, and maybe I'll pick it. And even if I don't pick it for the next one, I do often go back and just to make sure that I see one. I'm like, yeah, why not? I'll do that one. So, hooray! Hopefully you liked it. And I hope to see you on the next one. So, peace.